This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which is recorded live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The Barbecue Central Radio Show is being brought to you by The Barbecue Guru, the original creators of automatic temperature control devices, now offering 4 different models for you to choose from. Rest easy knowing that The Barbecue Guru is controlling your temperature so you can get on with your life. Visit bbqguru.com or call 800-288-GURU for more information. And by Fred's Music and Tasty Licks BBQ Supply, your online barbecue and grilling superstore. From cookers to grills, wood chips and chunks, and everything in between. Also be sure to try the Tasty Licks barbecue brand of rubs and sauces. Check Fred out online at tastylicksbbq.com. And by Stephen DeFranco Jewelers. Located in beautiful Willoughby, Ohio, Stephen DeFranco Jewelers is a family-owned and operated business looking to service the great folks of the barbecue and grilling world. Get free shipping and big discounts by mentioning my name and the term Barbecue Brother. Check out their inventory by visiting StephenDeFranco.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, with 30 years of experience in retail, wholesale, meat markets, food service, and customer service. Using that experience, everything they do and sell at Butcher's Barbecue comes from real-world knowledge. Check out their award-winning spices, sauces, marinades, and injections by visiting ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher.
And by iGrill. The iGrill is a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer that allows you to monitor the temperature of your food and smoker or grill from up to 200 feet away. Using the free iGrill app for your iPhone, iPad, and Android devices, you can set preferred temperatures, and your smart device will alert you when it's ready. It's perfect for cooking steaks to perfection or low and slow smokers overnight. Head to iGrill Inc., that's the letter I, grillinc.com to learn more. And by Barbecuer's Delight Wood Pellets, the barbecue wood pellet choice of competition cooks and backyard hacks just like me. The perfect blend of 2/3 oak and 1/3 flavor wood gives you that right BTU burn and flavor that you're looking to get all over your meat with smoky goodness. Visit bbqrsdelight.com. And by Green Mountain Grills. Discover something you're really going to love. Cooking with pellets. Green Mountain Grills are widely available across the country. Top-of-the-line manufacturing, but not the highest in price. Visit greenmountaingrills.com to get started on your pellet adventure today.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right. Good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show, folks. Oh, yeah. This is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. Broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. Dare I say it? We call it the barbecue capital of the North Coast, where I come from. I am Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, more than happy to have you. 2 ways to get in touch with me, 877-448-0433. You can also email the show if you would care to, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. And here is what's happening in case you didn't sign up for the newsletter. By the way, everything else you want to find out about the show, hit up the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. That's where you also sign up to get the newsletter. Coming up in about 13 minutes from now. It has been, dare I say, a while since this guy has made his appearance or reemergence or whatever you want to call it here on the show. Creator of the Amazing Ribs website, Meathead Goldman joining us on the show. Absolutely. And then, I got to give myself a little more heat on this microphone. Coming up, let me track back. Meathead will take care of the entire first hour. Thanks for coming. Then we'll move into the second hour, where we will find a first-time guest to the show, creator of the Grilling 24/7 website / blog. John Thomas joins us on the show. And then coming out of the Barbecue Central Show bullpen to help close it out, a monthly contributor to this show, he is the bona fide, credentialed, and official barbecue sauce and rub reviewer on this show, let alone the world, Scott Roberts. Scott Roberts-Webb joining us. So we got a full docket of stuff to get to, and I am, of course, always open for your emails and telephone calls, 877-448-0433, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Those are the ways to get in touch with me, should you see fit. All right, very excited about the show tonight. Right now, as you're watching, do me a solid. Make a Facebook post, tweet it out that you're watching the show right now. A couple of different web links to give you if you're so inclined. If you want to watch the video stuff, you can do it a couple of different places. OutdoorCookingChannel.com, which has been the long-time syndication video partner of this particular, well, it was radio show in the beginning, but just show now. We got a lot of video going on. We got a lot of audio going on, which makes it a show. And always happy to have Kevin Bevington on the other side of this thing doing it down in Florida. Also, you can catch the show on Roku if you have a Roku device. Internet Protocol television in your house, go to the Outdoor Cooking Channel app in the App Store for Roku. Download it, and you can stream it live right there, the very first option, which I believe is live stream or whatever they call it. You can also get the archives on Roku as well, or the Barbecue Central Show portion of that particular application on Roku. And don't forget, you can get it live right here on the website as well, thebbqcentralshow.com for the audio files of the bunch. And if you are tooling down the road and you want to listen to the show just like it was regular radio, download the TuneIn Radio app on your phone, or doesn't matter what platform you got, and get the free version, because we all know if it's free, it's me. That's what I always say. And plug it in your auxiliary device in your car or in your home or wherever the case may be, and you have the show just like you would be hearing it on regular traditional radio. Doesn't get any easier than that. Quite frankly, doesn't get any better than that, so give it a shot. And as I mentioned last week, this now our second show from the new palatial Barbecue Central Radio Network studios. And palatial, I mean kind of in a disarray here in the basement. Let me give you a camera shot, too. This is the guest shot right here. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's a microphone right in the middle of the shot there, right by, in back of it, to the back left in that little cubby. That's the stairs to go up. That's all the Christmas stuff that we have. You see the mattress off to the left-hand side. That's where my oldest daughter throws softball when she's not at practice. And then, our heater, hot water tank off to the side there. So a great look there for the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios. And then, of course, this whole thing that you can't see be through the magic of green screen. A lot of people asked me, you were talking with Dr. Barbecue last week during your regular segment, and all of a sudden you were like, hey, I gotta go. I'm out of here. What really happened? What really went down? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to let you in a little secret. The new house that we're in now is a colonial, so we have stairs in the house. The old Barbecue Central Radio Network studios was a ranch. There were no stairs in the house. Mix small kids with a large number of stairs, bad things happen at some point. You know what it's like. You remember? You remember. I know you remember. Remember what it was like when you were a kid and maybe you lived in a ranch house and used to go to somebody else's house who had stairs? Stairs were like the most magical thing that ever were made when you were a kid. I mean, take it from me, having 3 kids grow up in a ranch house just until this past year. Every time we would go somewhere other than our own house where there were stairs, it was like Disneyland. Oh, there's stairs. I'll run up and down the stairs and up and down the stairs and up and down the stairs. I'm going to slide down the stairs on my belly. I'm going to slide down the stairs on my butt. Stairs are great. Stairs are great. Inevitably, in this case, it's sooner than later, people fall down the stairs. It happens. Luckily, the little ones, kind of rubber, so it's all good. Now, it was such a blur when it happened. I don't remember if I really gave thanks and praise to the good doctor. Ray held it down. Ray, if you go back and watch, if you missed the show or you've just heard the audio portion of it, which I appreciate, of course, Ray really held it down in a way that, if you're really not accustomed to how a live show would work, because this show happens live, I'm still baffled by the amount of people that have no idea that as they're hearing this show in a podcast, don't realize the show took place live from the 2-hour stretch between 9 and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. People still think that this is a pre-recorded show, and I don't get it. This is live. If you're hearing the show any other time besides Tuesdays from 9 to 11, this show was recorded live, no editing done. This is how the show happened January 14th, 2014, when you hear it tomorrow, the next day, and 5 years from now. So imagine you're Ray Lampe getting interviewed by me, honor in its own right for me, and all of a sudden I'm like, I gotta go. And then I'm gone. Ray stands there for about, 30 seconds, realizes that I'm not coming back, maybe something potentially bad has happened, or as he put it, got to let the dog out to take a piss. And he just picked up the question and ran with it. And by the time I got back, he was finishing up, and of course then I let Ray into the scenario that had unfolded, which I had not planned on. But man, thanks and praise, kudos, peace and love to Ray Lampe for holding it down when I literally was racing upstairs, not knowing if I would find compound fractures of femurs and humerus and other such stuff. But being the true professional, having that live television experience underneath his belt, he realized that maybe I was not going to be coming back for even 3 and 4 minutes, and he was going to do his best to fill until he saw me come back. So I give Ray nothing but kudos for that. Before we get into the first break, typically I am not resolution guy for the most part, but I realized that 2014 different for me last week. So for the foreseeable future, no more chat room for me. No. Not going to do it. I used to have this policy in place back when I first started this show out live, kind of got sucked back in, and now I'm back out of it. I like the interaction. I like seeing what you guys are talking about, which normally has very little to do with the show. But I need to keep the focus on the interviews, making sure that I am bringing you the best possible product that I possibly, that's redundant, that I possibly can between the hours of 9 and 11. So if you want to get a hold of me, if you want to weigh in on something, if you want to criticize me for being a douche, do it the old-fashioned way. Shoot me an email, for crying out loud. Good way for you to get on the air, too, by the way. You email me, I read your email on the air, mention your name. It's fun and exciting for both. Again, recapping, if you want to give me a holler, not in the chat room. I won't be there. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. Email me instead, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. Nobody called me a douche. I'm just saying, if you want to call me a douche. There's plenty of reasons why. Again, quick reminder about the longest-running sponsor of the show, the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic temperature control devices. They are located in Warminster, Pennsylvania. I believe in February, you would recall my last conversation with Bob Trudnak from the Barbecue Guru that they will be putting on the first annual Shotgun Fred Barbecue Cook-Off in Texas, where Fred was from originally. These guys created automatic pit temperature control device technology. Why would you buy from anywhere else? I don't know. I know if I had the choice of either buying the technology that somebody invented versus buying somebody else, I would always go with the experts in the industry, but that's just me. You might decide to do differently. If you're not familiar with how these little beauties work, I'm not going to get into that minutia, but imagine a product that allows you to set your pit temperature in one set. It keeps it running at that set temperature all the way through the cook. Sound too good to be true? It's not. This is real life. You can take advantage of this technology today. Now, maybe you're like me and my wife and a bunch of our neighbors. You're busy working professionals. You're constantly on the run with kids doing errands. Quite frankly, you just don't have the time to sit around and tend pit temperatures. I get it. The Barbecue Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt, a brisket, a couple slabs of ribs. You're off to do whatever it is you need to get done. Barbecue Guru maintains the pit temperature you set it at. Just that easy. Now, maybe you're in the market for a cooker. Look no further than the Onyx Oven. Plus, from what I understand in our last conversation with Bob Trudnak, they're coming out with an additional cooker as well No fine details on that yet, but we'll have them back on when they're ready to announce. But in the meantime, the Onyx Oven has been winning on the competition circuit as well as in backyards all over the country. It's fully insulated, holds a ton of meat, accommodates half and full pans for food service, and works seamlessly with any Barbecue Guru pit temperature device you can get your hands on. So do yourself a favor, head on over to thebbqguru.com and check out all of their products. If you have any questions on what to order, give them a call directly, 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU or visit thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru, a breakthrough in barbecue technology. All right, well, we're coming back with Meathead. Right after this, lots of topics to get to, hotly debated some, and you will be let in on the secret too when we get back. Stick around. We'll be back right after this hangout.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 877-448-0433, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com if you are so inclined to get in touch with me. Of course, whenever anybody hears this music, you know for damn sure that it's One Fine Time Coming, a hit song, if you are so inclined to gauge hit songs. I don't know if you would find the song on America's Next Voice Talent Idol. It's a new show I just made up. But we do welcome Meathead Goldwyn in the show. Meathead, how are you, buddy?
Hey, how's the Cavalier of Barbecue?
Oh, we are suffering mightily, but we're no knees like Derrick Rose, Meathead. How about that?
Oh!
Thank you. Finally, I get to exact some type of revenge when you always come with the Cleveland Cavalier of Barbecue.
Yeah. Well, you are. A Cavalier is a gallant horseman on astride a steed, leading the charge.
Yes.
I mean, aside from your location in that hole of a town, you are a Cavalier.
All right. Well, I'll take the compliments wherever I can get them, Meathead. You know that about me for sure. And I will have you know, before we get into the debauchery of the next two segments, that Forbes magazine has ranked Cleveland as potential breakout city of 2014. They've tapped it the next Brooklyn, New York. How about that?
Breakout? You mean Zits?
That's right, Zits. Watch out. Meathead will be here all week. Be sure to tip your waitress. All right, Meathead, quick contest. Who's got the better beard, me or you?
Well, you are the better looking, that's for sure.
Goddamn right. Let's leave it at that. All right. Now, look, we got a number of things that we need to get to here, Meathead, and I don't have my agenda pulled up here with you, so give me 1 second while I sift through all of my diligent notes.
We have two topics tonight.
Yeah, two topics, and let's get the food stuff out of the way to make sure that we have allotted our special time. Hold on 1 second, Meathead.
Food before politics.
Food before politics, absolutely right. And I never talk politics with my friends, so we can talk politics all day long, Meathead.
Well, we're talking Chinese barbecue.
Nobody got that joke.
And then we're talking the top 25 most influential people in barbecue.
We will deconstruct the pork barrel list that was made public towards the end part of last year. All right, so let's dive into Chinese barbecue. Obviously, myopic Americans think Southern-style barbecue whenever they see the triple letters of BBQ or hear the word barbecue, however you spell it. And I don't want to say that I am bending or relenting to whatever view you have, but as I become wiser and older, my view is starting to expand a little bit.
It comes with the beard.
Yeah, of course. I'm much more wise and much more confused with Middle Eastern terrorists, but that's fine, neither here nor there.
You know, speaking of beards, by the way, I have a theory And I notice you're getting some gray in yours. My theory is that gray matter leaks out and it gets into your hair. And so gray hair is just gray matter that has escaped. And so I certainly have lost a lot more gray matter than you.
Yes.
But you're getting there.
Well, that's why perhaps you're a little bit more wise on your face than I am, but nevertheless.
I'm just a few steps away from the asylum. That's
right.
all.
What do we know about Chinese barbecue? I would say that if I'm gauging a copious amounts of Americans, they wouldn't group Chinese barbecue into the barbecue scene, but obviously that's a incorrect assumption.
Well, no, actually, for once you might be right. No, there's a lot to what you said, Greg. I've learned a lot about it. First of all, the background here is I just love Chinese food.
Yes, me too.
There's a big Chinatown here in Chicago. A couple of years back, my wife and I just went on a binge, and we cooked Chinese every night. When I was dating her, we're coming up on our 40th anniversary.
Wow.
We used to go to Chinese restaurants after work because we worked in a liquor store together, and so I've just always had this lifelong affair with Chinese food. And of course, I love the ribs, Chinese ribs. Who doesn't love Chinese ribs? And so I really wanted to know how they make Chinese barbecue ribs. And so I started researching it, and I'm friends with the people who run probably the best Chinese barbecue restaurant in Chicago, a place called Sun Hua. It's on the north side, and I got to know them. And a fellow barbecue guru here in town introduced me to them. And I took a tour of the kitchen and met the chef, and it's really very, very interesting. Slide one, please.
All right, here we go. We're going to go to slide one. Meathead, I understand that you probably can't see my pictures, but you're probably looking at it from somewhere else. But slide one is up.
I have two monitors, so I see it on my left monitor,
and
but
these
I got to talk to this one because that's where the camera is.
These look really good. These look really good.
Aren't they beautiful? That's my attempt at Chinese ribs, and that is Chinatown char siu ribs, I call them. And the recipe is on my website, AmazingRibs.com. And I slaved long and hard and make a batch, taste it, hustle down to the Chinese restaurants, taste theirs, hustle back. And I've come pretty close. And I've learned a lot about the process. It is not barbecue by any stretch of the American definition, any stretch. In China, it is often cooked with charcoal, but in the United States, it's almost always cooked with a gas oven.
Yeah,
it's this big gas oven. Actually, oh dear, what number is next? Now that I'm out of
number two.
I'm improvising.
Yeah, it's this big vessel-looking thing.
Yeah, where is that? That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
The Sun Hua oven.
One of the ovens that they use at Sun Hua. And the door swings open, and the food hangs. It's like the pit barrel. The food hangs in this pit barrel barbecue. There you go. There's some pork loins and tenderloins. Actually, I think those are tenderloins. And Greg, you know the difference now, don't you?
I do now.
It's a running joke, folks. If you don't know it, we won't get into it. Those are pork tenderloins, and it gets a smoke ring, but it's not from smoke.
No, it's from Tender Quick.
No.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if anybody in the chat room. Go ahead, guys, in the chat room. How do they get the red smoke ring? Come on, type it in, somebody.
They serve raw meat, Meathead.
No. It's a food coloring. It's just red food dye. It's red food coloring.
What?
And it's sometimes a beet extract. It's sometimes a red bean, azuki type beans, and sometimes it's just red food coloring, which often comes from the cochineal, which is an insect.
Nice.
Well, it's natural. It's natural. You're eating bugs, the juice of bugs, at least. But it's a red food coloring, and they get a really neat smoke ring, and you've seen it. And I'm thinking, let's go to Slide 4.
All right, here we go. Oh,
Yeah.
now what a great picture this is. It makes me want to grab a beer
There's
or
your smoke ring.
a fine white wine and just get after it.
And that's from the same recipe
Oh, those
as
look good.
the ribs. I didn't use the sesame oil, and I used a little less coloring. But that's pork loin, not tenderloin. And what they do is they have a marinade. Now, if you've done any Chinese cooking or if you like Chinese food, there's a few cornerstone flavors. And one of the reasons I gotta go back to why I suggested we talk about this.
Yes, please.
Because during the Polar Express last week,
forget it.
I cooked out only once. I wimped out. I just did not want to be out there very much, and I cooked indoors. And this is a great recipe for indoors because you can do it both outdoors. You can do it on your smoker, you can do it on your grill, and you can do it in your indoor oven. And if you're just dying for some good ribs, and this is a really neat variation on the theme that you can do with either spares, St. Louis cut, baby backs. Some Chinese restaurants, they use baby backs. Some of them, they take the spares and they slice them in half, so they're like little riblets. You can do that if you got a bandsaw in your basement.
Who doesn't?
But the flavors are really typical Chinese. What we call Chinese flavors are usually based on toasted sesame oil. And if you see sesame oil that's pale or yellow, that means it's not toasted. It's just a plain old vegetable oil. Toasted sesame oil is brown, and it doesn't take much, a few drops of it. And just for the fun of it, if you don't have any, go get some and smell it, because the minute you smell it, you're in Chinatown, you're in a Chinese restaurant. And a few drops of it in mayonnaise is really good on a chicken sandwich or chicken salad. It really takes mayonnaise into a wonderful direction. And you can use it in a lot of things, but it's really potent. Just a few tiny drops of toasted sesame oil is all you need. And that's a really distinctive Chinese flavor. Another really distinctive Chinese flavor that's in this marinade is hoisin sauce.
Yeah.
And hoisin sauce, some people call it Chinese ketchup. It has no tomatoes. The reason they call it Chinese ketchup is it's very common. And if you've ever had mushu pork, that brown stuff that you spread on the pancake, that's hoisin sauce. Now, you can buy char siu, which is Chinese barbecue sauce, but I don't recommend it. It's better to make your own blend, because the Chinese char siu is really thick and gummy, and it's really only good as a glaze, and it's just not, doesn't bear a resemblance to the barbecue flavor that we're going to get with a recipe like this. So hoisin sauce is at the base of a lot of Chinese restaurants, and it's a fermented soybean and vinegar and salt and rice wine and garlic and chili. It's got all kinds of good stuff in it. One of the other cornerstone flavors of Asian cooking is 5-spice powder, and it's got 5 spices.
Yeah.
Cinnamon, cloves, star anise, fennel, and Sichuan peppercorns. And it's really easy to make. You can just get those 5 ingredients, grind them up, and it's expensive to buy. But if you cinnamon, cloves, star anise, fennel, Sichuan peppercorns, grind them up, and you can make it yourself. I've got the rough proportions in a recipe on my website. And then the other cornerstone flavor of Chinese is soy sauce, or tamari. And of course, that's fermented soybeans and other grains. And I wanted to, there's a slide there, Greg. I don't know if you've had a chance to
Yeah, the one that tells you the
8B
ingredients in soy sauce.
8B soy. For years we've been saying, well, you got a nice little background. Oh, I kind of liked the background there, but that's good. For those of you who can see this, there's 2 packets of Chinese restaurant carry-out soy sauce there. And if you can read the ingredients, the one on the left, the Li Kung Ki, contains the 3rd ingredient, water, salt, soybeans. The one on the right, no soybeans.
Huh.
It's just brown liquid. You can read it's the bottom
The one in the black.
You got the zoom going.
Yeah.
You got the technology this week.
Yeah.
Last week was kind of rough, wasn't it?
Water, salt, caramel color, sugar, monodosium glutamate,
Monosodium glutamate.
1% sodium benzenate for preservative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's no soy sauce. There's no soybeans involved. So when you buy soy sauce, you want to get look at the label. Now, of course, Kikkoman and Lee Kum Kee are the two big brands in this country, and those are good brands. But watch that, and you can use the leftovers from the Chinese carryout that you ordered on Tuesday. But check first to make sure it's soy sauce, because often it isn't. So in any case, those are the cornerstone flavors, and I've got most of those in there. Also in a lot of Chinese dishes, you got ginger, honey, garlic, and they use honey as a barbecue sauce a lot. It's just a glaze. It goes on in the end, and it really is a lot of fun. And if you haven't got a good Chinese cookbook, it's a fun thing to play with. Particularly in the cold weather. But my recipe, and there was another ribs. I have two rib recipes, Chinese rib recipes. Let's see, hoisin ribs, number 5.
Okay, yeah, I think I just had that up. Give me 1 second.
That's right. Number 5, and that's nice, isn't it?
Oh, wait. Here we go. This is the one. I got to get the other picture out of the way. Oh, damn it, Meathead. Damn it.
There you go.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go.
Well, yeah, it's in the background.
Sweet now.
That's good. This is my hoisin ribs, and this is a slightly different approach and recipe, and it's got a kind of a brownish color, but it's really quite tasty, and it's really nice with chopped green onions on top and some sesame seeds. Fun stuff for the pork lovers out there. Yeah, I see somebody in the chat room as Patio Daddy, of course. John, good to see you. You always know the right answer. Rice wine vinegar, John says. And yeah, that's a major ingredient. It's not a real strong flavor, but vinegar gives you your acid.
Yep.
And rice wine vinegar is a really delicate vinegar. If you're playing with barbecue sauces and you don't want a strong vinegar flavor, even American recipes, we use rice wine vinegar often in American recipes. Great stuff. Thank you, John. It's a fun recipe, and I'm not going to go through the whole recipe here, but it's not hard to get pretty close to Chinese restaurant barbecue ribs, even though they're not really barbecue, and you can do them indoors.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do, and they're quick, because the best way to do them is to cut them into individual bones, so they cook really fast. They're not going to be as tender as low and slow. And you can adapt. If you want to do them as a whole slab and you want to put them out there on the smoker and do them low and slow, go for it. But you can just slice these babies up, throw them in the marinade for overnight or a few hours, and put them in the oven. Sprinkle some sesame seeds on top to look pretty.
What are you cooking? Like, what are you cooking if you take them off the rack and make them individual? What kind of a cook time are we looking at, and what are you putting your oven at? 350, 375? What?
You can go the whole gamut. Of course, ribs are always going to be better low and slow. So if you can notch them down to 200, 225, take your time. But they'll take like only an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours at the most, depending on what you're cooking at. And if you're not sure, I've got a cook time on the recipe, and I forget. I don't have the recipe open in front of me. But you can just take it, the same way you do out there on the grill. You take a bite, whack off a slice and take a nibble, and you don't know when they're ready. You don't need thermometers for this. You've never heard me say that, and I deny it if it's ever.
Yeah, luckily we're not taping, right?
Yeah, right. I'll deny it.
Meathead Goldwyn joining us here on the show. AmazingRibs.com is his website. We've got a couple minutes left here before we head into the first break. Meathead, what else did you want to cover on the Chinese
the other
pork?
thing I wanted to just touch, and then we'll get into the top 25 list, is MSG, monosodium glutamate. It was in the ingredients on one of those soy sauce packages. This is there's a product on the U.S. market called Accent. It's an additive. You can find it in most grocery stores. It's made of glutamic acid. It's a really natural flavor enhancer. A lot of people think it's some sort of weird stuff that's going to cause headaches.
Yeah.
In there is not one study that I can find anywhere that shows in blind tastings where people who say they get headaches from MSG, or where they serve them two dishes, one with MSG and one with not, they can't identify one or the other as causing a headache. Glutamate appears naturally. It is the compound that creates the elusive umami flavor that you've probably heard people talk about, that is present in soy sauce and Parmesan Reggiano cheese.
Ooh.
And in beef and in mushrooms and tomatoes. It's this savory, meaty, rich flavor that is one of the essential flavors. And, the food writer Jeffrey Steingarten from New York was addressing this issue of Chinese restaurant syndrome, where people complain they got headaches from the MSG in Chinese food. And of course, he came up with the ultimate the rhetorical question. He says, if that's the case, how come everyone in China doesn't have a headache?
Yeah, absolutely. They're used to it. That's why.
And I will add to that. A few years ago, I went to Rendezvous in Memphis. And I don't care what everybody thinks about it out there. It's a fun place, and it's a historic place. And they don't cook barbecue the way a lot of people want barbecue to be cooked, but I just have a ball when I go there. And I wanted to do Rendezvous ribs, which are served with just a sprinkling of their dry rub on top. It's not even cooked. They just sprinkle it on there raw and serve it. And I saw them on one of the Good Morning America shows or something, and they gave the recipe, and I tried it, and it didn't taste anything like the store. So I bought a bottle, and I deconstructed what's in the bottle and got real close. In fact, if you Google Rendezvous rub, I come up ahead of them.
Wow.
But my recipe's pretty good. But their recipe on the bottle, it says MSG. So if MSG causes headaches, how come everybody who goes to Rendezvous doesn't get a headache?
I think we know what's happening here, Meathead, and enough is enough with these people, for crying out loud. All right, Meathead, take a break. You're on fire. Refresh your drink. I'm going to talk to people quickly about Butcher Barbecue. Gang, if you're anything like me, you're always thinking of ways to step up the barbecue and grilling game, and there's no better or easier way than by doing it with the Butcher Barbecue arsenal of products. Look, folks, we've talked to Dave on the show any number of times. I've asked him any number of times, Dave, do you have to be in the competition circuit in order to inject? If you are a backyard person just like me, is it going to give you any type of benefit if you're just competing in the backyard for the high fives of the neighbors and maybe some scandalous looks from the neighbor ladies, if you know what I mean? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't have to be on the competition trail to inject to get those benefits. So why not visit butcherbbq.com and order some of that beef injection or that pork injection or the prime injection? Of course, the newest injection to the market that Dave has out is that Bird Booster, which gives you 3 times more moisture yield inside of the poultry than you would get normally from your traditional brining. If you're not a math major, to me, getting 3 times more moisture in the bird might give you a little bit better window. What if you overshoot? Heaven forbid you overshoot. Maybe keep it moist. How about all that? Now, perhaps you're looking for a go-to rub or sauce. Friends, you've hit the mother lode here. Butcher's Barbecue has a full line of award-winning rubs. One of my personal favorites, that steak and brisket rub. Of course, when you see me getting down with the pork butts and the ribs, you know I got honey rub in my hand as well. That has garnered a lot of attention over the years with a lot of different bloggers trying it out and rating it very highly. Let me ask you this, or do this for me. Try the premium rub, especially if you inject with Butcher's Barbecue. It's formulated to work with the injection. A perfect 1-2 punch to impress judges and friends alike. And last but not least, look, Meathead can actually attest to this, because the first time I got my hands on the Butcher's Barbecue sweet barbecue sauce, I was literally drinking it out of the bottle during Meathead's segment. It was that good. He was surprised. He was horrified all at the same time. Look, when it comes to sauce, I'm as picky as it gets, right? Butcher's sweet sauce wins in every category for me. Not overly sweet, a nice slice of tang, just the right amount of back-end heat, and for crying out loud, no liquid smoke. Dave took the time and effort to make quality sauce, and he didn't take the easy way out like most do by adding that little ingredient to make everybody think that there's some type of smoke in there. Forget it. Grab a bottle of 6. It will go You'll go through it really fast, no doubt about it, and you're not going to break the bank when it comes to shipping either, so head on over to butcherbbq.com. That's butcherbbq.com. Stock up on any and all. Tell Dave that the Barbecue Central Show sent you over. He'll take care of you. Again, it's butcherbbq.com. We are back with more Meathead as we deconstruct the Pork Barrel Top 25 2013 Most Influential People in Barbecue. Heaven forbid, Katie bar the door. We're coming back right after this.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, 877-448-0433 is a phone number. An email address, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. Remember in the open, I said I'm out of the chat room. New Year's resolution, no chat room for me. And I have to say, I'm feeling very refreshed and invigorated that I've been able to spend all of my time with Meathead, not following you weirdos in the chat room, talking about whatever it is you guys talk about. But Meathead can follow and answer questions as well if he sees fit. All right. Meathead joining us back after the break here. Always appreciate the time, Meathead. AmazingRibs.com, his website, if you've never heard of it. And I would like to say, welcome from getting out from underneath your rock. Come on. Meathead, you would recall that throughout the month of December and then creeping into the new year, Pork Barrel Barbecue Boys developed a 2013 25 Most Influential People's list. And I got a email from you that said, geez, I've seen this list, and I appreciate the fact that they've gone through the effort and task of putting such a list together. But, geez, it seems like they've missed out on quite a number of people, and you felt a duty to come on and perhaps present a list of your own, or perhaps some things that should have been added to this list. So I will let you take it and add my 2 cents where it seems to be fitting.
Well, first of all, in case they're listening, I want them to know, I think it's a meritorious list. I think it's really a good list.
Yep.
I think they did a great job. I absolutely agree with Bobby Flay at number 2. I don't care what folks say. This guy does great grilling, occasional smoking. He's taught so many good techniques. He's brought a lot of creativity.
Why do people hate the Bobby Flay Meathead? Is it the New York thing?
Well, I think, Greg, we hang out with a lot of people on the competition circuit, and that's a very small insular world. You had Sterling Ball on a couple of weeks ago, and, I was talking to him the other day. He says there's maybe 3 dozen at the most teams that cook 20 competitions a year.
Yeah.
That maybe there's less than 100 that cook 30 or 40 a year. They're going to name the team of the year. It really is a competition among 10 or 12 teams. I mean, it's a very small world. Competition barbecue, as you know, and the audience here knows, has become a rich man's game. But it's a very small insular club, and Bobby's not part of that club. Guy Fieri dabbles in it occasionally, but not really. And, like any other club, I think we tend to sometimes be exclusionary. I really love listening to Dr. Barbecue last week. He talked about some of this, and by the way, you're right. He just did a super job holding down the fort while you were checking to see if your kid died. He was just tremendous, and he's just great. I mean, he's a hero of mine. When I grow up, I want to be like him. I want a beard like his. Yeah, that's it. You and I should both trim our beards to look like Dr. Barbecue.
Meathead, I still have a genuine interest in getting laid, so forget it.
What is that? In any case, I thought they did a tremendous job. Naming number 1 the Backyard Barbecuer, that's not bad. I mean, Time Magazine gets away with that with the computer and stuff. But, for the first list, it would have been nice if they picked Dr. Barbecue. And so I sent around an email to everybody that I knew on the list. I have email addresses for most of those people and a few others whom I thought might have been left off. And I got some interesting responses from them, and I've kind of come up with a little list. One of the things I think they missed is, and again, I think they did a super job. There's everybody on that
Mita,
list deserves to be on there.
don't preface what you're going to say. Just come out and
Okay.
say they went out on a limb and made their
missed
list.
a
Now it's
lot
your
of people who can show metrics. Let's take Jamie Purviance. Now, I bet a lot of people in the audience don't know who Jamie is. Jamie's written all of the Weber Grill cookbooks.
Yeah.
I don't know how many that is. That's a dozen cookbooks. They're translated into German, into Spanish. They're beautiful cookbooks. They got great recipes. Tens of thousands of them on the marketplace. There's a lot of influence there. He shows up on Good Morning America. This guy is, a very influential character, and he can show the metrics. I'm sure if we called him up and asked him how many books of yours are in print, he can say so. I wonder how many of the people who are educators on the list have reached anywhere near the number of people that he has. Dr. Barbecue, Ray Lampe, he's got, a half a dozen books out there. Yeah. He also is on TV frequently. One can get some sort of metric. So I'm not sure about the methods that they use to pick the list. One can quibble about the position of some people. I think it's a great list. But it seemed like people like Paul Kirk and Artie Davis, who've written several books for KCBS, very popular books, very good selling books, reaching big audiences. Jamie Purviance, you, Greg. We see 20-some people in the audience here tonight, but there's thousands that you reach through iTunes. I don't listen live very often. I happened to be in live last week. I listened to you on podcasts.
Yeah.
I heard you talking about. You shocked the hell out of me. You don't know what a truffle is. I got to talk to you about truffles some other time. I listen to you, so you have reach. Derek Rich is another one of your guests. Google any of the keywords for barbecue. It's usually Derek or me that comes up in the top 2 or 3. 15 million people came to my website last year. That's a metric I can show Google Analytics. 15 million people.
Yep.
That's mild influence. Daniel Vaughn, he's the only full-time barbecue critic in the nation. He writes for Texas Monthly. They have a great website. It may not reach a lot of people. Where are the pork barrel guys out of New Jersey or DC?
No, they're
or
Washington,
someplace?
D.C., yes. Yeah.
I think D.C.?
Yeah.
Okay. They may not be aware of him, but he has influence in Texas. He names the top barbecue restaurants in Texas, and that affects a lot of people. His godfather, if you will, Rob Walsh, used to write from the Houston Chronicle. Anybody out there who has not read Rob Walsh's book about the legends of Texas barbecue needs to run out and get a copy of that now. He is the godfather of Texas barbecue, and a brilliant writer as well. I don't know. I've got a couple others on here.
I want to add one. I didn't. Look, let me say this. I think that it was a great tactic is the wrong word, but I think it was a great marketing deal to get traffic to the website. I was checking every day, absolutely, just to see who they were going to put up there. I was under, of course, I was getting a lot of emails, as I'm sure you were, going, I'm sure you'll be next. I'm sure you've been. Look, I don't care to make any list. Lists are lists. They're subjective. People are putting together whatever they feel they think is the top 1 or 10 or 15 or 25. And if I'm not on that list, I could care less because I could make my own list and make me number 1 if I wanted to. And that's the way I feel about that. The thing that I respect about the list is that they went out on a limb. They put themselves out there and their brand out there to not only open themselves up for praise, but for criticism as well, which they knew they were going to get. And they did it anyway. So I thought the only one that was omitted that any one of these 25 could have easily been replaced with, and I think this guy should have been easily the top 10, is Mike McLeod from MMA Creative, but more importantly, the creator of the World Food Championships. And it's just celebrated the 2nd annual World Food Championships in, I think it was late November, and has affected not only barbecue, has affected many other food competitions throughout the course of the year, starting probably as soon as next month, And if they win this or if they finish here, they get all of these invites. So they're drawing this huge swath of culinary experience that isn't just strictly related to barbecue. It's recipe makers, it's people that make burgers, it's chefs, whatever, and they're all competing at the very end of the year to see who the top person is. I think that holds a tremendous amount of influence, and I feel bad for Mike because of what he's been able to put together and how big it is and what it all encompasses to be left off the list, although I'm sure he probably doesn't really care that much, and he'll probably be on the list next year if they do it again. But that's the only guy I would really say I think should be on that list.
Well, I think actually McLeod is a great choice. What I'd like to suggest to them, and they're going to do their own list, and they don't need input from me or you or anybody else. But it'd be nice if there was some sort of nomination process, and it'd be nice if there was some sort of metric applied. How they measure influence, but I don't know. I mean, it's a good list. It's a good start. It'd be great. Some of the others that were suggested when I sent out my notes, Dave Raymond, whom they spoke so highly of in their interview with you, said that Jared and his dad from Weber Grill are still deeply involved, and he should be involved, should be on the list. And the people, the president of Old Hickory Pits and Southern Pride, they should be on the list. Carolyn Wells at KCBS.
She was on the list. She was 6th.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
Carolyn suggested
okay.
that it would be nice if there was some sort of nomination process.
Yeah.
Or voting or selection process.
Now, look, I have a very big issue with a lot of these other polls or people of the year BS that's out there on the internet because however a nomination process works, you get whittled down to however,
vote
and
for
then
me,
all of a
vote
sudden,
for me, all my friends
then it
log
becomes
on
a
and vote for
promotion.
me.
I mean, give me a break. That's no way to just put your list out and take the lumps if you get them. That's what I say.
Well, you said that last week, and I think you were right. Yeah, they had the cojones to do it, and I applaud them, and it's a good list. So I'm just going to send them my suggestions, and I think it'd be nice if others did as well. There is on the list on their blog a place to add comments, and there's one comment only, and it's from somebody who's the mother of somebody who's on the list.
Yeah, it's Ronnie Cates' mother.
Ronnie Cates' mom logged in.
Thanks for recognizing my son. Thank you. Yeah.
So there's room for input. I hope they'll take input. But I think it's a fun list, and I think they brought recognition to a lot of people who deserved it. And they may have left a lot of good folks off, but it's a good running start.
Do you think, and you kind of touched on it in the very beginning when you said that number one was the backyard barbecue, but do you think in a list like this, it is a little bit of a cop-out to do the groups like the barbecue judges, the backyard barbecue, or there was another group of people that were in there too. When you have 22 individuals to also add a group of people in, groups can be certainly influential to a certain degree, but I think when you're doing this type of a list, if it's not all groups, it should probably be all people.
Yeah, it's their football, and they can take it and run with it if they want. But I those are 3 slots that might have been filled with Mike McLeod or somebody, an individual who's deserving. But their point is well taken. I mean, the barbecue judges go home and they teach their neighbors about barbecue, and alas, so many of them go home and say, "Oh, that's not barbecue, that's grilling." And they impose snobbery on their neighbors, but what the hey, I'd like to have seen those be individuals, but their point's well taken. There's precedent for it. When Time Magazine does their Person of the Year, they have often picked groups or other things, non-entities.
Meathead, in the last couple minutes, what do you have going, or what do you have planned and or forecasted for the website in 2014?
Well, I'm busting butt on getting my book done, but I want to get more into cooking game. I want to get more into cowboy cooking. I just posted 2 really hard-worked articles on grilling with wood and smoking with wood. That is, most of us smoke with charcoal and wood chunks.
Yeah.
But as we know, a lot of folks use stick burners.
Yes.
They cook and grilling with wood. And grilling with wood is really starting to catch in the restaurant world. And I've got some really good tips on grilling with wood and campfire cooking. And I want to do more in those areas next year. I want to get into more international foods and creativity like we talked about tonight. I have a really good yakitori ribs, Japanese ribs recipe that I'm going to come out with soon. I have fun, man. I get up in the morning and I don't have a list of things to do today. I may decide I want to cook a recipe and I run down and get the ingredients and I'm living the life, man. It's a great life. I wanted to end with if I have a moment here with a minor rant, because I never have opinions.
Please.
And it was on the topic of Chinese food. Back to our beginning topic.
All right.
What has happened to the fortune cookie? It used to tell you your fortune. You open the fortune cookie and it would say, wealth and fame are in your future. Oh, yeah, I sent you one. That's right. It's probably number 9.
Yeah, I got it.
I sent you. This is what they call a fortune now. This is a fortune. Within the coming 5 months, you will find 3 missing socks. Well, that is actually a fortune now that I think of it. But
wouldn't it be a better fortune if
just
you
have proverbs on them now? Be nice to your mother. I'll take this any day of the week. But what I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, but they just don't tell your fortune anymore. They're now aphorisms and proverbs.
Wouldn't it be more of a fortune if instead of finding 3 socks, you found 4, because then you have 2 matching pairs? They can't even get that right. Give me a break. It's ridiculous.
My socks never return. They run away.
Yes.
They disappear. And my coat hangers are constantly mating. They're always intertwined in obscene positions.
I don't know what to say about that. It's Meathead Goldwyn, AmazingRibs.com, perhaps getting into hanger porn at a different website later on in life. You will see him on the second.
Steaks.
That's right. The second Tuesday of every month. It will be
Yeah.
Meathead and I, so look for us again next month. Meathead, always appreciate the time, and we'll look for you at AmazingRibs.com.
My pleasure, as always.
Thank you very much. There he is. Meathead, ladies and gentlemen. AmazingRibs.com. That is AmazingRibs.com. All right, a little over on that, but well worth the rant on the fortunes. I was never a fortune cookie guy. Never.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I can leave it. Not only take it or leave it, I can just leave it. Folks, the next generation of iGrill has arrived. You can now pre-order the iGrill Mini at iDevicesinc.com/iGrill. That's letter iGrill. For $40. The iGrill Mini has everything you love about the iGrill and so much more, with smart LED that indicates the progression of your temperature and lets you know when you're in and out of temperature range, proximity wake up to conserve battery life. And it also has an outstanding 150 hours of that battery life. By the way, you get all the awesome features in a pocket-sized device at half the price of the original iGrill. For $39.99, the iGrill Mini has 1 meat probe and 1... The iGrill magnetically mounts to your grill or smoker and even comes with an attachable magnetic case in case the ceramic smoker that you have does not have a magnetic surface. Maybe you have another smoker that doesn't have any type of magnetic surface. No problem. Comes with a little magnetic deal, so you can get hooked right up in that way. It's the iGrill Mini. Now, look, I've been receiving emails from some people that won through that 5-week or 4-week giveaway of iGrills. I have to touch base with Leanne just to see where they're at. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me if you don't have your iGrill Mini yet. They could not have gotten in product, so that's why we call it pre-order. Means they're not there yet. You're on the list. And for crying out loud, it was free. Relax. Little info on the product itself. iGrill is a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer, and it pairs with your Apple or Android device using the free iGrill Pro app, which can be downloaded either in the iTunes App Store or the Google Play Store. You get about 200 feet of Bluetooth range, so you're able to monitor your food from practically anywhere in the house. Gives you the free time to do whatever you need to get done, and you get the assurance your food is being cooked perfectly. You can watch the game, you can have a few beers, you can mow the lawn, whatever it is. iGrill's got your food covered. Now, with the regular iGrill, not the iGrill Mini, you have a dual probe capability, so you can monitor 2 different pieces of meat at once, or you can also measure the ambient temperature of your smoker or grill using the ambient temperature probe. That can be purchased at the iGrillInc.com store. Within the app, you can set minimum and maximum temperature settings. If your grill or smoker gets too hot or cold, the iDevice will alert you. You can enter promo code CENTRAL. Get 15% off your purchase at iGrillInc.com. Don't forget, anything over $50 ships free. Again, that's iGrillInc.com, promo code CENTRAL to get 15% off, or iGrillInc.com or iDevices.com/iGrill for the pre-order of the iGrill Mini. We're back to wrap up the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we're back. Thanks again to Meathead Goldwyn for joining me this past 2 segments, talking about Chinese barbecue and then deconstructing the Pork Barrel Barbecue Top 25 Most Influential People in Barbecue of 2013. Fun and exciting, absolutely. AmazingRibs.com is his website. If you're looking to make some Chinese barbecue ribs, because it's going to be getting cold out here in the Northeast again. And maybe you're not up to it to get out there and cook them on the grills or smokers or whatever you got. You want to do it on the inside, still have a little rib love, little Asian or Chinese flair, AmazingRibs.com. Check out the recipes he's got up there, or email Meathead. He's always very accessible for everybody. We're going to step away here. We'll reload to the second hour. John Thomas is in. Scott Roberts is in. Your phone calls and emails are in. You are listening to the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Boom, boom. Yeah, yeah. If you want to jump in, by the way, you're watching and listening to the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. The BBQCentralShow.com is the place you have found. We talk about barbecue. We talk about grilling here on this show. It's kind of fun and fantabulous type of a deal. We do it every Tuesday between 9 and 11. You can tell your friends about it. You can check me out on the Facebook. You can follow me on the Twitters at BBQ Central Show. We have a lot of fun out there. Thanks again to Meathead Goldwyn for joining me basically in the first hour altogether. And having a great time talking a little Chinese barbecue. I do humbly submit that, the majority of people if tasked or asked about, what do you consider barbecue? And I could be one of the I can barely hear myself in my, I can barely hear myself in my ears with my little thing. I might be running a battery. I might be one of the only people that maybe has never had a Chinese rib in my life.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I can't remember having, now I've had, like the little strips of pork that are in like pork fried rice, or, my favorite thing on the Chinese buffet, ladies and gentlemen, not only is it the free, very meager, crappy crab legs, which I'll still eat an F-load of. I will eat crab legs like you won't believe. I will eat the ass end out of crab rangoon and pay for it later, if you know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. Does anybody else love the crab rangoon? I love me some crab rangoon. Give me some of that. Give me some beef and broccoli. I'm to town like you wouldn't believe. God. And it's been a minute since I've been to Chinese buffet. Email me what your favorite victual on the Chinese buffet is. And, of course, you have all of the stale desserts that look so tempting until you actually load up your plate and you get back to wherever it is you're sitting and realize that those desserts were probably also left out the night before last year.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Boy, they look great. And the banana pudding is always the worst. It's like the worst fake banana taste ever on the face of the earth. Yeah, that's right. Visit AmazingRibs.com, get his recipes, try it out, especially, as I said, we're going to be coming into yet another clipper. Adam Pace, you're right. This is my second favorite thing aside from crab rangoon, General Tso's chicken, or Sao, or TSO, or however you say it. Adam is absolutely correct with that. Thanks for joining in, Adam. Thanks for participating in the show, Adam. Still to come in about 11 minutes from now, John Thomas from Grilling 24/7, closing the show with me tonight, Scott Roberts from ScottRobertsWeb.com. On the show next week, we mentioned him in the 2013 Top 25 people. I mentioned him as somebody that should have been on. Mike McLeod from MMA will visit, talk 2014 Sam's Club Series. I had heard a rumor from a very connected bird that the Sam's Club was kind of it wasn't in a bad way, but I don't think it was known right off the bat if they were going to be continuing on with the Sam's Club series or whatever the case, but there was some question if it was actually going to get re-signed for, but this one signed, sealed, and delivered. And we'll talk to Mike about that, see if there was perhaps any jeopardy or if that was just all rumor mill stuff that got thrown up against the wall and did not stick. And we will also be able to talk to Mike about the KCBS banquet, which will be taking place, is it this weekend? Something like that. Jason also loves General Tso's chicken with pork fry rice. Love me some fry rye. Love it. And egg roll. Pork egg roll. Love it. Give me a number 5, please. I'll take number 5. Also coming up on the show next week, a monthly contributor to this show, Robin Lindars adds to the good-looking quotient. Aside from me. Neathead said I was better looking than he was, so I must be damn sexy. Let me ask you this question. Hold on a second. I got another email coming in tonight. Is that, I only have I think it's Matt Bauer. Wonton soup. Man, I love me some good wonton. Man, my daughters and wife love the wonton soup. Even on takeout, we'll get the big, huge, plastic, non-recyclable container of wonton soup. That thing is so heavy-duty, that container is so heavy-duty, you can, reuse that bad boy for pretty much anything. You need to have a reuse on that thing, no problem. You can store meat. You can store nuclear waste in that thing. Doesn't matter. The other thing that I really appreciate, at least for my Chinese restaurant, and holler to 100 Flower in Willowick, Ohio, on the Lakeshore Boulevards. They take corrugated cardboard and put it in the bottom of the brown paper bag. By the way, Chinese takeout, still probably one of the few places that use brown paper bag. Most everybody has gone to the plastic bags like you get at the grocery store. But Chinese takeout, still at least in Wickliffe, Ohio, or Willowick, Ohio, is they cut out the corrugated cardboard, probably from boxes that they're getting supplies in, to reinforce the bottom for extra heavy roads of rice. Katie Rempe, my sister, weighing in saying beef romaine. Yeah. Yep, not only Katie, but my middle daughter, Madison. Love beef romaine. Loves it. All right, folks, let me ask you a question. During this tremendous cold snap that many of us experienced, you would recall last week I said that it was negative 10 degrees out when I was doing the show. With wind chill, it was like it was 30 below zero. With wind chill. Well, cold weather makes people do weird things. For instance, woman attempts to warm minivan with charcoal, and guess what happened? Nothing good. Really should come to no shock to anyone, but for the... where did I go? Where'd it go? Oh. Now, hold on a damn minute. Here we go. Really shouldn't come as a shock to anyone, but for the record, let's just say it's usually a pretty bad idea to set charcoal fire under your car. A Wisconsin woman did just that and set her 2007 Dodge Caravan on fire. Even better, she lives in an area named after a burning torch. The Ladue Flambeau woman was trying to start her minivan in some really awful temperatures, around 23 below Fahrenheit, and after removing her battery and warming it indoors, she decided to warm the engine block with a charcoal fire. So here you got a lady that's, pretty smart, taking the battery out, bringing it indoors, and then goes right from being pretty smart to being the stupidest person ever and starting a charcoal fire underneath the car. The inevitable fire started with the underside of the bumper, quickly spread to all deliciously flammable bits of rubber under the hood, and around the engine bay, causing the local news says it's about $1,000 worth of damage. But as the writer of this article would say, it has to be way more than $1,000. I mean, somebody bumps into you in the back bumper, and you're in at least $1,500. The writer continues, still looks like way more than $1,000 of damage to him. Those plastic bumper covers alone aren't cheap. So once again, we all know it's cold. We all get desperate. But please, folks, remember this, and if you're watching on the video, look at this lady who has ruined her car. If it's a public service announcement you want, it's a public service announcement you will get. Please don't build fires underneath your car to heat the warming block. It's the worst idea.
Get that big stuff out of here.
It's the worst idea ever. Cars not meant to be cars are not meant to have fires lit under them, especially near gas tanks. It's just not. It's a bad idea all the way around. Always a bad idea. Remember this. Much like if you are going to start a sentence with the words, and these would be the first two words out of your mouth, and I had a boss that used to do this, them are. If you're ever going to start a sentence with the words them are, immediately stop. It is incorrect. It is incorrect. Never start a sentence with the words them are, and never start a fire underneath your car to warm up the blocks. No, never. Never. Not one justifiable reason to do it. All right, gang, let me talk to you quickly about Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply, trusted online retailer and longtime supporter of this show. Just spoke to Fred a couple days ago. And he's like, Greg, please tell everybody about the same stuff I'm telling you to talk about every week. Okay, what's that? About Kamado Joe cookers. How about Meadow Creek cookers? How about spices, sauces, accessories, many items, most of these items in stock, ready to ship to you directly. Have you been looking for Oak Ridge brines and rubs? Have you been looking for the complete line of Plowboys rubs and sauces? How about the Smoke on Wheels products. Tasty Licks has them all, and of course you know by now that Tasty Licks, your Big Green Egg headquarters, including many items for the egg you can't get anywhere else. And these Big Green Egg parts are in stock, ready to ship to you directly. Also, Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply, carrying Harry Sue's rub, and is your competition headquarters as well. All the supplies for competition teams, pans in different sizes, aluminum trays, gloves, thermometers, turn-in boxes for practice. Make it your one-stop shop for your team. Tasty Licks, BBQ.com is the place to go. And don't forget, they also have the big heavy hitters of injection to include Butcher's Barbecue. They have the Barbecue Guru products and all of their associated accessories. Tasty Licks is a Green Mountain pellet grill dealer. And Fred says, when he's on the show a bunch of times, you know, he does a lot of classes for the general public as well. He teaches most of them. He'll do the pizza classes. He does the backyard barbecue stuff. He'll teach people how to do some competition stuff as well. But then, of course, a couple times a year, he's pulling the biggest names off the competition trail to make the jaunt down to tropical Shillington, Pennsylvania, to do the cooking classes that are so very popular anymore these days. You can visit TastyLicksBBQ.com to get the complete lowdown of classes that are going to be taking place. And you can also go over there to try out the Tasty Licks line of rubs and sauces. Be sure to try them. They're very good. When you order, drop Fred a line that you heard about him here on this show. Let him know that the support of the show is appreciated. You're going to appreciate him right back by ordering some great stuff. If you do pizza on your Big Green Eggs and your ceramic cookers, get that like super pimped out pizza stuff. Super ceramic, I think it's called. Google Kamado Joe Pizza. See that it won't crack like 2,000 degrees. Get it. It's worth it. $70. Dropping a buck. All right, we're back with John Thomas right after this. Stick around.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at the BBQ. CentralShow.com is the place to go. If you want to jump in tonight via email. My first guest in the second hour, a very successful blogger. You can find him by visiting Grilling24x7. That's X, Grilling24x7.com. A first-timer to this show. Excited to have him on. Let's go ahead and race over the hotline and welcome in John Thomas to the show. John, how are you, buddy?
How you doing, buddy?
Doing absolutely fabulous, John. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight. And, to start, I guess, I actually met John in person at the very first Kingsford Invitational in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. John, recount me the highlights and lowlights, now almost 2 years away from that event. For me, the highlight, of course, the Budweiser Tour and Luncheon, hands down. But as you reflect back on that Kingsford Invitational inaugural event, some great things that you liked and some things you thought could have been tweaked right off the bat.
Well, let's see. I think the thing I liked the best was, as you pointed out, the Budweiser stuff. I mean, they treated us pretty well. I remember Budweiser chefs were making all these meals and pairing it with, surprisingly, just the Budweisers and other types of beers that I normally wouldn't have gone for. I thought they really treated us well in that respect. It was also great to have, some of the samples straight from the, the competition teams. That was, you can't beat that. I don't know if there's any lowlights. I mean, what could be bad about, tons of beer, tons of barbecue, hanging out with you guys? That was pretty good. I guess the only negative would be they didn't invite us all back next year.
Well, I agree with that for sure. I'll throw out this low light. Maybe you forgot about it. The 4-hour transit bus ride to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that was bad. That was a couple years ago. I tend to block out the negative like that, but that was bad.
Now,
that was a really long bus ride after a really long day of a lot of eating and a lot going on, and I think all we wanted to do was be done with the day, and here we took a 4-hour wrong turn.
Yeah, 4 hour. Yeah, couldn't back up, couldn't twirl around. But as John Dawson quickly reminds me every time I mention that, he's like, "Well, we only had like 4 cases of beer on the bus, so
that's true.
However
that's true. That bus was stocked.
See?
Right when you leave at the Budweiser facility, you're going to have a stocked bus."
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And John always trying to find like the silver linings. That's what I like about John Dawson from Patio Daddy. All right, John, so let's talk about you here just for a second. If the people aren't familiar with grilling247.com, a little background about you. And is this, live fire grilling thing that you're into, something that you have been around? Did you grow up with a family that liked to do this, or is this something that has become more of an affinity for you later in life?
I think it came later in life. I've always enjoyed food, always enjoyed eating, but the cooking kind of came after school. I was, always interested in science, doing all that kind of stuff all through school, and I think it was just natural to go right into cooking. I came about it a little late in life, I guess, but, cooking is science. There's tinkering, there's measuring, there's experimenting, especially when you try to add some fire, meat, all that stuff. I'm totally on board. So, part of the tinkering is I just started writing HTML one day. I was like, look at this, I can make the computer screen green. I was just so basic. And then all of a sudden I started learning tables and, writing a blog. And, then I found out about food photography and then the grilling and just everything just, exponentially went up. So basically, as you pointed out, I write a food blog. I try to keep it basic. I try to keep it with simple recipes that people can follow. You just need some basic charcoal grilling skills. I focus on charcoal. If you can do direct heat cooking, indirect heat cooking, you should be able to follow anything I do. Especially getting into. I do a little smoking on the website, but I think most of it's focused on grilling.
Now you're also a what do they call it? The Kingsford VIP blogger. So you go to grilling.com and then you're going to see some of your entries. Like, how does that whole deal work with you in Kingsford?
Well, I think good old Clint, the editor, he just scours the website, my website, sees what he likes, and takes some of it, and rewrites a little bit of it. Shoot us an email and say we need this, we need that. Do you guys have any recipes for grilled avocado or something crazy like that? And then we come up with it and see what happens. And next thing you know, it's on Kingsford's site.
All right, so let me ask you about, you said avocado. Of course, avocado is synonymous with a little thing which I love called the guacamole.
Yeah.
And back on July 14th, 2013, and I'm showing a picture of it right now, you have a bacon guacamole burger. So is this something where it was just like you said, Clint was like, hey, we need something for an avocado, and you were struck with some passion and some vision?
Well, no, that wasn't through Clint. I think I just came up with that one because I was in this big guacamole kick. Who doesn't like guacamole?
Oh.
And I must have saw somewhere, hey, put it on a burger. Because that's part of what I was saying was I like to keep things simple. So if you look at that recipe, it's literally you make a guacamole, you put some bacon on it, and you have a nicely seasoned, well-cooked burger. Well, those simple flavors, they just work so well together, especially if you present it right and, you have a toasted roll and things like that. It's just, you can really make something special if you have simple ingredients, if you just put them all together right. So that's kind of what I'm focused on.
Yeah, I was going to say, as I'm coming to read about the blog a little bit more, and of course I follow you on Twitter, and I'm always interested to see what you're saying. But there seems to be a theme with the Grilling 24/7 blog and your vision, which is, not get like too super intricate, where it's going to be you have to be like at a certain level in order to participate with you. It's simple stuff. It's not a lot of ingredients, or if there are a lot of ingredients, they're not super hard to find or to incorporate into the recipe. But it's like doing a little something extra with the simpleness to raise it up another level, like you just said, toasting a bun instead of just leaving it untoasted.
Absolutely. I just posted a couple weeks ago. I had a jerked chicken wing recipe, and it was kind of odd to write it up because I think there was like 20 ingredients. I usually don't do things like that, but it was orange juice, and it was this intense jerk marinade that had some fantastic flavors in it. But I was looking at it, thinking I like to keep things simple, and here I'm entering in. Let's see, what's this? The 12th ingredient, 13th ingredient. So yeah, simple is always better, but you have to have the basics. You have to know your temperature of the grill. You have to know how to cook on the grill. Otherwise, the simple just becomes kind of, average. That's why toasting the roll, I think. I mean, I can talk for 25 minutes about toasting a roll, and I can see that at tailgates. You go, let's say you have a tailgate and it's 20 degrees outside, and you've got this, let's say you have all these burgers, they're on a hot grill, and you've got bacon and cheddar melted all over them, and then you put it on a 20-degree roll, right? That roll will be sitting outside. I mean, that just ruins the whole thing, and I don't even want the burger at that point. So you got to put that roll on there, toast it up, and one thing that I even do, I'll grill the burgers, and I'll take them off the grill. Then I'll toast the buns. I'll get those off the grill. Then I'll use an aluminum, one of those aluminum baking tins. I'll assemble all the burgers, put everything back on the grill. And that way you have a warm burger from, everything's warming at the same time. So when you're giving that to somebody, they're having they're holding it in their hand. It's warm. It's steaming from all throughout. Things like that are what I try to, write about over and over again.
John Thomas, Grilling 24/7, the website grilling247.com. That's grilling 24 and then X and then 7 all in a row.com. I'm saying that right. Is it grilling 24? Yeah, okay.
That's how I say it. I've always thought about that. Some people say 24/7. When I say it out loud, I say 24/7. But there's an X in there. I think people get that.
Yeah, 24x7.com if we're phonetically spelling it out for the lames in the audience. John, how did the blog start? You kind of gave us a little background on that, but when did you start it? How long have you been doing it?
I believe around 2008, 2009. And, it's funny because I just accumulate these recipes. I don't take old stuff down. So if you go deep on there, on the right, you'll see I have a photo recipe archive. There's probably over 100 recipes buried in there somewhere. If you find some of the old 2009 stuff, the photography was terrible. I had no idea what I was doing with camera. And it's really changed over the years because I've really focused on light and shadow and things like that. I've really learned a lot about photography. So over the years, it's changed. But I would say, 5 years or so ago, I was just, I thought it was cool to take photos of the grill, and I really enjoyed, cooking all this fun stuff. Weekends would come, and it would turn into a happy hour that involved, hey, what are we going to throw on the grill? And, hey, let's take pictures of it. I just had fun with it.
John Thomas joining me here on the show. John, is that some of the biggest evolvements that you've seen over the life of the blog? Is it the picture taking or maybe learning about stuff that you didn't really anticipate having to know about, or maybe realizing it was fun? When I look at the really popular food blogs that are out there, Grill Girl, John Dawson's blog, yours, Meatheads, you guys all take your own pictures, and it looks like you've hired some type of a professional to come in. The lighting is always great. It's always super sexy, and the lighting is perfect. And this is all stuff that you guys have learned on your own to kind of set yourselves apart from the run-of-the-mill BS out there, right?
I guess so. Thank you. I do all the photography. Maybe every once in a while I'll hand the camera over to my wife if I've got, hey, take a picture of me cutting this raw piece of meat. You know what I mean? So she can handle that. But, all the finished product stuff where the stuff's all styled out. Yeah, I've just picked that up over time. A few years ago I took I don't even want to talk like I'm one of the better photographers out there in terms of grilling photography, because there's some fantastic guys out there. But, a couple of years ago I took a photography course at a local community college just to see if I could up my game a little bit. And it was really comical because I'm sitting there with all these, it was an interesting, diverse group of people, and their homework and their projects, they're taking pictures of kids. You're seeing pictures of kids on swing sets and stuff. And I'd come in with a big pork shoulder. And they're like, well, what is that? I'm like, it's a 12-pound pork shoulder. See how I'm trying to take a picture of the bone being pulled out? They thought I was a total lunatic, which I really am. But it was kind of amusing to compare what I was coming in with compared to the typical person at a photography class.
John Thomas joining me here on the show. John, have you ever considered at some point maybe getting into another medium with incorporation of the blog? So obviously you got the writing down, you have the cooking down, you have the recipe part down. Obviously you're taking very good pictures. You ever thought about starting your own podcast or getting into some more video-rich type things to get more content on?
I've thought about it, and it comes down to what I'm trying to get out of this. This is just fun for me. It's fun to have it, get popular, and you're getting contacted by all these companies wanting to send you stuff and all that stuff, and it's fun. But what I really like is I like sitting down, the weekend comes and I look at some of the photos I've got. I'm like, hey, let's see, how can I write this up? It's kind of like I get into this little world of, my little banter comes out, and the next thing you know, I'm resizing the photos and adjusting the light. And it's kind of like I just escape into this little world. I'm not really a video guy. If you notice, I really have none. So that's really not my thing. I really like the photography, the writing aspect of it. So I'm perfectly content keeping it like that. So this is just kind of the thing that I tend to go to.
So as I said, I'm looking at the site, and I see there's a bunch of recipes, and it's well thought out, and how you kind of lay out step by step for everybody. But we have a huge football game coming up here sooner than later, and there was a couple recipes that I wanted to ask you about specifically. And I think these would be really good options for people to at least attempt if you're going to be holding some type of a Super Bowl party. And the first thing, I love gyros. When I was at OU going down, that's Ohio University for people who don't know, not Oklahoma, because I'm from Ohio. One of the best gyro, hole-in-the-wall little places ever on the face of the earth. You have this thing called Bratwurst Gyro. What is it about, and how do you put it together?
Well, that's interesting. Now, I'm glad you said gyro, because as I write this, in my mind, I just say gyro. Oh, no. But, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but as writing, it doesn't matter. But I'm glad you said that. So I'm going to say gyro. There we go. I've always, it all started, everybody's a big fan of Good Eats, and I'm watching Alton Brown, and he had this phenomenal, lamb mixture on a rotisserie spinning, and I thought, I've got to do that, Well, where I live, I live near a major city, Baltimore. I've had a lot of trouble finding ground lamb. So much trouble, in fact, that I gave up. I couldn't find it. So on my to-do list was, I want to make these gyros. So, I was thinking about it, like, is there any way to do this? And then the guys at Johnsonville, they posted a recipe called a gyro sub, and they had a bratwurst with, some feta and this cucumber-based sauce called a tzatziki sauce. And I thought, well, wow, they did the sub, and all they have to do is slice it differently and put it on a pita, and you've really got yourself a simple gyro. So the way I did this was you just simply grill brats. The typical bratwurst. No need for beer flavored or anything like that. Just typical brat. Cook it, let it come, bring it inside and cool it. You want to slice it lengthwise, and that's a little hard to show while I'm on the phone. But you slice it the long way, so you have these long slivers. Well, if you look at that bratwurst, it kind of has the consistency. It has the look of that authentic lamb mix, right? It has that look. So you slice that up. You sit it on a warmed pita. You put some sliced onions, some tomato, and then you make up you can either make it or you can buy it. It's up to you. This cucumber-based sauce. Well, this is a pretty darn good representation of a gyro, if you ask me. Now, if you're gonna go up to a Greek guy and say, "Hey, what do you think of this?" They're gonna laugh in your face. But if you can't find lamb, this is the most simplistic. Everybody can grill a brat, right? It's the most easy to do way to get a gyro. So, gyro.
I'll let it slide this time, John.
Okay,
I'm showing the pictures of it here as we're talking from your website, and it does look incredibly simple but incredibly tasty. And people in my family are huge fans of that cucumber cream sauce that go on the gyros as well.
I love
so
it, yeah.
it looks absolutely fantastic. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about, something huge for any party, doesn't have to be Super Bowl for me, it can be anything, is buffalo chicken dip. And you kind of stepped it up a notch with this buffalo chicken fatty recipe. Where did you come up with this one?
Yeah, this is really, I really like this. And in fact, I was reading over this a couple of days ago, and I thought I got to do this weekend. So everybody's done these fatties, right? You get your smoker and you buy this. What's it like? One of those big logs of breakfast sausage, and you smoke that, and that's your fatty. And then people have taken it up a couple notches by wrapping it in bacon weaves and doing all these exotic things.
Yep.
So, I think they made the news being called bacon explosions and things like that. Well, this is a pretty cool modification on that. So basically, you make this bacon weave. So you got to Google how to do that. That's to be honest, I had to ask my wife how to make the weave for the longest time, but I think I finally got it now. So you make this bacon weave, and then you take about 2 or 3 very large boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and you pound them flat. So you get a nice, even, thin consistency. And then on top of that pounded flat chicken breast, you put some sauteed garlic, some hot sauce, some blue cheese crumbles, and some Parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
Well, then you finagle that, or you know, if you're clever, you can do it on top of the bacon weave. You put all that chicken, the flat mixture, on top of this bacon weave, and you roll it up, and then you smoke it. And maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours later, it's going to be done. You start brushing it with either a barbecue sauce or a hot sauce, and you've got this, you know, it looks like a torpedo that's in a bacon weave, and on the inside is just this rolled, thinly pounded chicken with a blue cheese, garlic, hot sauce mixture. It's out of control. It's really good.
I mean, perfect for the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not that hard to do. I mean, you know, we can throw it on the smoker because we're fortunate enough to have one, but I'm guaranteed that this would be fantastic in an oven. You know, it would work either way.
All right, so maybe not your traditional Super Bowl food, but kind of ending it here, the how to make your own homemade McDonald's Big Mac, which looks absolutely fantastic. I love me some Big Mac from McDonald's, by the way.
Well, if you love yourself some Big Macs, you got to try this because, you know, I'm not going to insult the fast food chain, but you could imagine when you do this at home, I mean, it's 10 times better. It's out of control. And part of the reason is because, as we said, you know, when we first started talking, you're paying attention to every single detail. So I'll just talk a little bit about this Big Mac, how this gets assembled. You know, you make a very small, it's about an 1/8-pound burger patty. So you smash a bunch of these, you know, I say smash because I put them in one of those burger, you know, the burger smash things. I measure out about an eighth pound. So I said, yeah. Smash that down. You make a bunch of these little burger patties. Sit them to the side. Then you buy the key here is you've got to get 3 pieces of the sesame seed bun, right? So you need a tall. You got to be clever in the supermarket. You got to find a very tall sesame seed bun, one where you can cut either the top or bottom in half, and that's how you get that third piece. If you absolutely can't find a tall one, you could always use 2 bottoms, but I kind of like the idea of cutting it in half better. You're going to dice up really fine some diced white onions, dice up some simple iceberg lettuce, and get some cheddar cheese. And then I've got a recipe on the website. It's very simple to make this Big Mac sauce. It's literally some Miracle Whip, some sweet relish, some French dressing, sugar, pepper, and a little bit of onion. It's so simple. You mix it up to make it the night before. So right there is all the preparation. Then you just head right to the grill. You grill the burgers, and as I said before, you get them right off the grill. Put them in one of those aluminum tin style things. Then you have to grill these the rolls. You have to toast them. Toast the buns and get them right off there. Then you bring everything inside. You can actually be done with the grill if you want, and then you start assembling it. I don't know if you remember that sauce with if you remember that song with the.
Yeah, 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. No,
absolutely,
I don't remember.
Absolutely, you nailed it. Well, that's pretty much what you're singing when you're doing the order of operations. You spread. I've got the pictures there. You got the pictures up on the screen. I see.
Yep.
You big dollop of sauce on each of the bottom pieces. You put onions everywhere, lettuce everywhere, cheese on the bottom, some pickles on top. You put the burgers on each one, and you stack up that sandwich. And you are now not ready to serve that. This step is the most crucial. Put those Big Macs in the microwave.
Wow.
Hit them for like 25, 30 seconds. And I do like a group of 5 or 6 of them at a time. And this is essentially, it melts everything. It melts your cheese. It gets the sauce. It gets everything hot and comes together. And this Big Mac it'll just knock your socks off. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you wonder how I know that, I worked at McDonald's when I was 15. So about 20 some years ago, I was throwing Big Macs into a McDonald's, in a microwave. And I don't think they do that anymore. If you look back at McDonald's, they're not using these microwaves anymore.
It's all made to order anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no more microwave.
No more hot slides or anything like that with the numbers sitting behind it, knowing when you got to throw everything out. Forget about it. It's all made to order anymore. Forget it.
Yeah, it's made to order, and sometimes the cheese won't even be melted. And I'm sorry, you can't do that. You got to have your cheese melted, right? You got to have the sauce warm. You want the whole thing warm. I mean, these are my pet peeves. This is why I can't go out to eat.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with John Thomas. He is the creator of Grilling 24/7, the website, grilling247.com. That's 24x7.com. John, really appreciate you coming on tonight, man. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun.
All right, there he is, John Thomas. Again, the website, grilling247, grilling24x7.com. If you want to check him out and see what he is up to. Lots of great recipes and advice and all that stuff. That could be a recurring guest right there. Very good. Get on the mic. Click the thing on the side. Oh, yeah, there you go. Say hi.
Hi.
Here, do this read for me. No, talk about, actually, get on the microphone. Talk about our friend Steven DeFranco. What do we know about Steven?
He sells jewelry.
Yeah, Steven selling jewelry to all sorts of people, right?
Yeah.
For instance, like, what are some of the things that we've gotten from Steve?
Earrings.
And
rings and bracelets.
Yes. And he loves to barbecue and grill, right?
Oh, yeah. He likes to barbecue.
Yeah,
grill.
so he not only is he somebody that loves to barbecue and grill, but he is somebody that is looking to take care of the barbecue community, right?
Yep.
So you go to his website, StevenDeFranco.com.
Okay.
Or you call his number, which is what? 440-943-2700. And when somebody answers the phone, if it's not Steve, who are you asking for when you call? What the hell was that? The damn cat. Ruining everything. Who are you asking for?
Greg.
Oh, you're asking for Steve DeFranco. You're calling Steve's store.
Well,
Funny girl.
You just...
All right. Once you find out what you want from the website, call Steve. Ask for him directly. Say, I want to talk with Steve. 440-943-2700. It's 440-943-2700. He will make sure that you are outfitted with whatever it is that you need. And you will be very happy with the products. Steve is like, he's not pressure sales guy, right? Get up on the microphone. What have I taught you people?
Yes.
Right? And he's not going to make you buy something that you don't want, right?
Yep.
Is he going to make suggestions about some things that might fit your needs or elicit the reaction that you want?
Yes.
Of course he is, because he knows what he's doing. Steven DeFranco, again, the website, StevenDeFranco.com. That's DIFRANCO, StevenDeFranco.com. Or you can give him a call at 440-943-2700. We are back with Scott Roberts right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back. Jerky beef. Gonna ruin everything.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Uh-oh. What the hell just happened there? He was there, now he's gone. What the hell? All right. Helping me close the show out tonight, a friend of mine, a monthly contributor to this show, and the official sauce and rub reviewer of the Barbecue Central show, Scott Roberts, is, not joining me here on this show. Well, I'll show you right there. See, he ain't there. He ain't there. He gone. Is my, I look to be all right here. Let me quickly go to desktop. Oh, is he calling in? All right, he's calling in. Heaven forbid something work out all the time. Scott, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. What happened to the video? Can you see me?
No, I can't see you.
Yeah, it had a little message. There was an internet connection problem, so I didn't know what was going on.
What is that? Can you turn your video back on?
I could sure try.
Yeah,
unless you want to give me a call right back.
All right, I'll give you a call right back. Don't tempt me to hang up on somebody. I will immediately. There we go. All right.
Can you see me now?
There's Scott. Beautiful.
Hi there.
Happy New Year, Scott.
Well, same to you, Greg.
Thank
How's
you.
everything going with you?
Everything is great. I think. Well, couple things. For the 2014 resolution, I have now quit the chat room, so I don't get lost in the dronings on of the Centralites, which is very easy to do because they talk about stuff that grabs my attention away from my guests, which is not fair to my guests. So I said this year I'm going to make a full resolution to my guests by attending to their every need during the course of the segment, even though from time to time they do sprinkle in some really good like one-off questions. But that's it. Otherwise working through any technical issues with the new studio setup, so on and so forth. You know how it is.
It seems to be working pretty good.
Yeah, well, tonight seems to be all right. I haven't gotten any emails saying that I'm off the air or that I'm frozen or that I suck or that I'm ugly. Well, wait, I have gotten the ones that say I'm ugly. Scott, what's new in the world of hot peppers, chilies, and other such stuff at scottrobertsweb.com?
It's probably been a little bit of a time since we last talked. There has been a new official World's Hottest Pepper. Whenever it was. Months ago, I predicted that we wouldn't have a new Guinness champion for some time. Well, I was actually wrong this time. And the new World's Hottest is the excuse me, I'm just kind of getting over some sickness here, so my voice is a little scratchy. It's called the Smokin' Ed's Carolina Reaper pepper.
Smokin' Ed's Carolina Reaper pepper. Well, what was the other one? The Balut Jalokia Scorpion Ghost
Ruga
Face?
Scorpion was the last one.
Yeah. Now, how is this newest, hottest one made? Do they mate strings of different really super hot peppers together to make a new super pepper or what?
Essentially, that's what they do. They take the hottest ones of the different variations that are out there. Now, this one is not very much different from all the other scorpion peppers. I know genetically you can find little differences, and I'm not really an expert when it comes to that. I tasted it. As a matter of fact, it was probably about a year and a half ago when I first tasted it. They were trying to submit it to Guinness, and it is indeed a very hot pepper, very similar in taste to the other scorpion peppers. If I was blindfolded, I probably couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, because it's really effing hot, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I mean, once it gets to a certain point, it's just hot, and there's probably, can you still taste like floral or flavor notes when it's still like racing off?
You actually can, yeah. And different peppers, of course, have the different types of heat. Some are immediate, some choose something and you will get just kind of a general vegetable-like flavor to it. Then you'll get the floral notes, the bitterness, if it has a type of like an apricot flavor, kind of undertones. Sometimes that's a little delayed, sometimes immediate. But then by that time, the heat rushes full force and your mouth is on fire.
Yeah, Scott, kill your camera because we're starting to slow down again.
Okay.
All right. Save some bandwidth here. All right, so let's transition over to some of this stuff that you come on to the show for. You're the official sauce and rub reviewer of the show, and the first item that we have tonight is a thing called Sucklebuster's Clucker Dust Barbecue Rub. Now, I'm no pontificator, but I would imagine this might have something to do with like a poultry rub.
Exactly, yeah. Of course, the nature of poultry means simply that a lot of things can go with it, and it really depends on your particular taste. I like a lot of sweet things with a little bit of spiciness and savoriness thrown in there. Other people, they're just all out for the savoriness and the umami. I think this one strikes a really good balance between everything. Has quite a bit of a sugary flavor to it. But it is full force with the umami, savoriness. You get the garlic. You get all kinds of other spices. And it's just a really good, not only a barbecue seasoning, but it's one of those things that can kind of double as an all-purpose kitchen seasoning to a certain extent. It's not something you can just sprinkle on any type of vegetable or bread or popcorn. It does have its limitations, but it is pretty versatile for something that the creator of this, Dan Arnold of Sucklebusters, he intended it to be specifically for chicken.
Now, Dan has been in the – I mean, I knew Dan when he originally got into the game with the Suckle Busters original seasoning, and I think from all accounts he has very good, very popular, award-winning rubs to a large degree. As far as a price and quantity where you get it, what do you know about that?
Okay. It comes in several different size containers. The people want to try it, they can get a 4-ounce shaker bottle for $5.99 over at sucklebusters.com. Of course, pay for shipping. I'd say it's definitely worth it. And the rating I would give for this is somewhere between a backyard griller and a top 10 call.
All right. So definitely worth the try, for sure.
Yeah, so it's around 3.5 stars out of 5.
All right.
So it's a good product.
The next one up, that was, by the way, the Suckle Busters Clucker Dust Barbecue Rub. They can be found at sucklebusters.com. Dan Arnold, a very good guy, by the way. Chef Dean Martin's Spicy Asian Barbecue Sauce and Marinade. Now, look, Scott, I thought Dean Martin was dead. He's still pumping out products like crazy.
Apparently, yes. He's reincarnated as someone. No, this of course, is a separate Dean Martin. And for what I know, he's very shy when it comes to the internet and publicity. I met him at the Fiery Food Show out in Albuquerque probably about 4 years ago. Very nice guy, very talented chef. He knows his flavors very well. Now, I believe the regular version of this product, I might have reviewed this here on a Barbecue Central radio show 3 years ago, I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, but I kind of wanted to just feature the spicy version of this.
Yeah.
And if probably no one remembers the original review, just an absolutely stellar product, outstanding, comes with my highest recommendation. This is not much different than that, but it just has a little bit of extra spiciness added to it. And me being a chili head, of course, I'm acclimated to high heat levels. So the heat doesn't bug me too much. I don't know if that's the right word, bug me. I can't taste too much of a heat. The people who have tasted this say it's probably around a medium heat level. So if you like things on the spicy side, I would definitely recommend this. The Asian influences, it's really high in ginger. It's very sweet, just has a very smooth but punchy type of flavor, if that all makes sense. All coalesces very well, and this goes good on whitefishes, shrimp, chicken. So just an outstanding product with a little bit more spiciness than the original one.
Size, price, and where you get it?
Okay, this comes in a 16-ounce bottle, and it runs for $11.79. Very pricey. That doesn't even include shipping.
Oh, my.
And there are a number of places on the web you can buy this. The first one in the Google results that came up for me is AmericanSpice.com. So run over there, try that. Actually, Chef Dean Martin's website, I don't even think it's functional at this point. So I would recommend Googling it or just trying AmericanSpice.com.
Were you able to delineate if you can save on shipping if you buy multiple bottles? I mean, it is coming highly recommended from one Scott Roberts.
Yeah, I think it really depends on where you buy it from. Maybe you can buy it from Amazon at this point. I know off and on things like this were not available from Amazon. Not that it was a temporary or a seasonal product, but it just seemed to be produced certain times of the year. Other times it was unavailable. But I would just try a couple different websites and see if you can pick up, 3, 6, whatever number of bottles and see if you can save on shipping.
All right, 16 ounces, just short of $12, AmericanSpice.com. What's the rating here, Scott?
Rating would be a reserve grand champion.
Wow, so definitely worth to get, even at $12 before you ship it out at 16 ounces. Again, that's the Chef Dean Martin's Spicy Asian Barbecue Sauce and Marinade, $12, AmericanSpice.com. Last one tonight, Sweet Sunshine Sauces, Roasted Shallot and Garlic Sauce. And while I am not a huge fan of raw onion, grilled onion or sauteed onion, completely different because the sugars are out. It's a little bit more sweet and I can handle it, but not raw onion. Mm-hmm. I do like a shallot. It's a little less abrasive for my palate. So I'm a little encouraged here by this particular sauce. What do you think of it?
I'm the same way. Shallots, onions, when they're cooked, they lose all that nasty pungency. Same could be said for garlic, too. And if you find the right combination of flavors, just like this product, it marries together with other ingredients very, very well. Now, Sweet Sunshine sauces, Paul Saris, he's the owner, and he developed like one type of sauce, is original sweet sauce, and everything else, all the different variations are all based on that. He will add a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, but they're all different variations. And this one, of course, is heavy on a shallot and the garlic. And to kind of back up a little bit, that original sweet sauce is one of those sauces that are very hard to categorize. It's not a hot sauce. It's not a barbecue sauce. It's not a steak sauce. It's just one of those things that straddles the lines between categorization. Really hard to describe, but it's very, very good for what it is, and it makes it highly versatile. Now, the shallots, the garlic in this, they are powerful but not pungent to where they turn you off. They're very sweet in this, and they blend together just terrifically with all the other flavors. It's a sweet sauce, and I know I mentioned kind of a hot sauce. It's not a hot sauce per se. So if you're not a chili head, you can still enjoy this very, very much. As a matter of fact, it's probably good for most people, including children, people who don't like any spiciness in their food at all. But this is just versatility times 10. This goes good with everything. Tacos. I mean, you name it.
Wow.
All the different barbecue meats that you can think of. It's just a terrific, versatile sauce. Very highly recommended for me.
Yeah, and I'm on the website right now looking at it. Multiple award winning for this sauce as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Very nice. Size, price, and where you get it.
Okay. Comes in a 10.7 ounce bottle. Comes for $5.99 plus shipping. Very, very worth it. And you can get this at sweetsunshine.com.
Sweetsunshine.com. All right. And Scott's rating on this one?
Rating would be a top 10 call.
All right. So, again, it seems like everything is well worth it. A couple top 10 calls. You got the Reserve Grand with the Chef Dean Martin Spicy Asian Barbecue Sauce and Marinade. So all in all, a very good showing for the first review of 2014. We're talking with Scott Roberts at scottrobertsweb.com. You can check him out. Still doing the weekly Firecast too, Scott?
Yep, still doing a podcast. It's
Good.
probably bi-weekly at this point. So if people like to hear things about the spiciness, there's barbecue stuff as well. A lot of focus on chili peppers and the hot sauce. You can go over to weeklyfirecast.com, subscribe to that. You can subscribe via iTunes. Of course, my main blog is at scottrobertsweb.com.
All right, there he is, Scott Roberts. You'll find him here again next month with more sauces and rubs. Scott, always appreciate the time.
Okay, thanks a lot, Greg.
You got it. There he is. Again, that's scottrobertsweb.com if you want to check him out with the weekly Firecasts. Obviously a different show than this one. He's covering his particular industry of speciality, which is the hot sauce and the chili pepper stuff. But definitely worth it, fun, exciting, and learn about a new industry. All right, folks, quickly, if you are looking to get with this show in a sponsorship form or fashion, you have now reached a lucky time. We've had a rare dropout of a sponsor for undisclosed reasons, which I will not talk about. But nevertheless, that benefits you. So if you have a product or service and you are looking to partner with the most popular barbecue and grilling show, podcast, video, blah, 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 this is your time. Go to the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. As a matter of fact, I'll do it for you. You can see me do it right here. You go to the barbecuecentralshow.com. And then right here under About the Show, there's a thing that says, Lord. Okay, right under the thing that says About the Show. This is not going to work for me now? This is what we've come to. There's a thing that says Become an Advertiser. Then it'll give you some small statistics. Then there's this link right here about the media kit. And boom, now you are in full bore. You get to see exactly what you get. You get a little background on me and the show. You get the rate, all that great stuff, what you get with the rate. Doesn't get any better than that. And you have the option, of course, calling or emailing me and saying, hey, I'm interested in taking this one spot. If you look into doing some type of traditional marketing program with a terrestrial radio station, or maybe you're going to run an ad in the paper or whatever, hugely expensive. Believe me when I tell you. The investment that you give with me monthly, substantially less expensive. A great exposure. We call it direct marketing because everybody who listens to this show has a built-in interest for the barbecue and grilling industry. So you're getting right in front of the people that you want to get in front of. The show is downloaded 45, 50,000 times a month. There's 100-plus people tuning in live each and every week through Roku, through my audio stream, through Outdoor Cooking Channel. So you have a lot of eyeballs on the thing. Now, can I guarantee sales? No. Can I guarantee what I will do for you for your particular monthly investment? Absolutely, and I'll do it to my best ability. So if you're interested, shoot me an email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com, or check out the website at the Become an Advertiser, thebbqcentralshow.com. We're back to wrap up right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we're back. 877-448-0433, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. Enjoyed that, and very excited that there's a very new hottest pepper in the whole world. Scott had made proclamation that would not be happening very soon, and as soon as he said it, well, what do you know? There's a brand new hot freaking pepper. There you go. Let's rewind and close this show out. All the way back in the first hour, we visited with Meathead for 2 segments. We talked about Chinese barbecue, the essence of how it's made, flavor profiles. We deconstructed the Pork Barrel Barbecue 2013 Top 25 Most Influential People in Barbecue list. And then the top of this hour, we talked with John Thomas from Grilling247.com, Grilling24x7.com if you're typing it out in the hypertext version. And we ended the show with Scott Roberts from ScottRobertsWeb.com. He went over Sucklebuster's Plucker Dust Rub, the Chef Dean Martin Spicy Asian Barbecue Sauce and Marinade, and the Sweet Sunshine Sauces, Roasted Shallot, and Garlic Sauce. All winners. So a good showing right off the bat for the 2014 sauce and rub reviews that we will do once a month for the next 12 with Scott. All right, if you have raw cast iron, season it each and every time after you use it. It starts to cool down, hit it with a little grill brush, then a little Pam or a little Crisco, let it burn back in, re-season it each and every time. Generations of rust-free service. Also, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And I hope you don't either. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.